My entire family is crashing and burning and it's stressing the hell out of me. Let me preface this by saying that this isn't a family conflict where we are all arguing amongst each other, but instead where every member of my family is struggling through something individually to the point where everyone seems angry, frustrated, impatient, and miserable in their own personal conflicts, and it's been stressing me out how much my family seems to be crashing and burning. Plus, I'm a college student who's moving to college in like 2 weeks, so I can only help so much until I move away. Let me explain my situation as best as I can and explain the struggling that each member is going through. My younger sibling is currently a sophomore year at a very competitive HS, where students grind the shit out of everything both in academic and extracurriculars. It's a place that I see as basically college 0.5, where the jump between middle school and this HS is so big. Some AP classes feel as hard as college classes, if not worse. Hell, when I went there, I found many of my classes to be harder than my college courses. I managed to survive and do somewhat well, but I'm noticing my younger sibling suffer greatly in this same environment. The thing is that she does well in most of her subjects like English and science, but the moment you put her in a math class, she crashes and burns. Initially, I was a tad bit frustrated on why she seemed to be struggling so much, but now I'm feeling terribly awful for her, and seeing her hate school and hate learning because of a rough math class and even tougher history class is making me extremely concerned about her mental well-being. The thing is that I admittedly struggled a bit in the same HS, as I did use some tutoring for my AP calculus courses, and now I'm studying both physics and math at uni, so I tried encouraging her that you can struggle a lot in HS and do amazing in college, but she still seems to be having a bleak attitude towards HS that makes me worried that she'll grow to despite learning or herself. She has friends to hang out with, but I'm worried that she feels pressured into taking classes that are too hard for her, especially since she's a much slower learner compared to me, and even I struggled on many courses. While my family and I are actively encouraging her to not take tons of APs or rigorous courses, she still feels a bit pressured to take difficult courses despite knowing she struggles a lot on them academically. However, at the same time, my sister does have some tough teachers, with her math teacher having a somewhat ludicrous grading scheme for exams, so she feels like during her course selection, she was dealt a shit deck of cards. My father has been stressed with work and is always traveling, so a lot of things that he usually does around the house has been put on me, which I'll explain why that's an issue later. We live far away from the company he works, so every time he needs to have an in-person meeting, he needs to fly and take 3 to 4 days away to travel, which is more common than expected. He is a hard worker, which means he can tolerate this, but it's still a bit worrying to see how much he has to travel for work. Arguably the most worrying outside of my sister is my mother, who is currently fairly injured and unwell, leading to her being close to needing to be as sedentary as possible. I don't want to describe the details too much, but in short, she has a worsening injury that mitigates her ability to walk and do any physical activity. Even driving is difficult for her. While my dad might be the one to drive her as he works from home, during times when he travels, I have to be the one to drive and do things that she usually does around the house prior to her injury. My day-to-day is mixed with concerns for my younger siblings' academic and mental well-beings, as I keep watching her seemingly worsening with time as she struggles in a competitive HS environment with merciless teachers with bizarre grading schemes, my dad who's always busy and traveling, and an injured mom who struggles to live her life and is left to be sedentary to heal and recover. And this is while I'm working full-time during summer and taking summer classes. I'm stressed beyond belief, and I'm also feeling like crashing and burning. Help. Now to the next story, Story 2. My life sucks. Good afternoon. Sorry for the despairingly grim title, but I feel as if I have no other way to put it. I hate to sound so self-loathing, but I am way too intelligent for my own good. Explanation at the end. This whole mess starts with my childhood education. I used to be the type of kid who never sat down and was always active. I swear I had undiagnosed ADHD. I could never stay sat in seat, never read well as a kid, and importantly never had a single thing stick to my brain, except Five Nights at Freddy's and geology LOL. I eventually was put in a reading support group in grade 5, which really did help me a lot. Starting in middle school, grade 6, I had no support group. My family had recently moved districts, which was really tough on me. I had no friends, and worst of all, that school was ignorant to its own educational problems. I had no sense of direction with the teachers, who were clearly there just to get their wage. How about I talk about the drug problem literal preteens were facing at that school? I am not kidding when I say I was introduced to weed and shrooms in 6th grade. Needless to say, I became obsessed with the whole drug scene, or whatever you want to call it, which had caused me a considerable amount of missed education. I accept most responsibility with my missed education, but I also was just depressed, you know? I hate the fact I hid it from my parents so well too, and the school's lack of trying on me and other students. My parents just thought I wasn't trying hard enough in school. I wanted to take some time and explain where I was coming from before high school, because this is important. I had started high school, like many others, online. The lockdown had basically enabled me to drown in my own thoughts and stay up until 3 a.m. messing with programming languages like Python, Lua, and Java. I was basically a tech junkie for the better part of my freshman and sophomore year. My problem is I have many hobbies. I had self-taught myself to read music notation and play instruments like piano, guitar, flute. I am a deeply emotional person, unfortunately, and love music. As mentioned, I also can do some front-end software development. I had a passion for photography for a while and got some amazing astrophotography shots of the Andromeda Galaxy. I am also a very confused person. In high school, I changed what I wanted to do every year or so. It began with computer science, then engineering, aerodynamics, physicist, psychology, finally neuroscience. I always prepped myself up for each of these degrees, doing what I could at home to get ready for community college. As mentioned earlier, I never had good grades in middle school, which was detrimental to my math and English placement in high school. The prerequisites I needed for these degrees were almost never met, so I would need to either take a whole lot of prerequisites in CC or not take that degree path. My turning point in high school was when I taught to love myself. I had started a healthy, creative, and expressive lifestyle. I fixed my sleep schedule, which absolutely helped my education success. I felt like a happier person, and since then, I learn and communicate so much better than I was previously. I felt like I could consume more knowledge than I could read. My grade point average from freshman year to late junior year was around 2.7. When I implemented this lifestyle, my GPA was around 3.4 average. I was so proud of myself and felt like I would rule the world. Unfortunately, while trying to take the academic road to success, I had realized I was constrained to who I was in the past. You all may wonder why I couldn't just do community college, and to answer, I did. I started my classes weeks ago and can still maintain good grades. Over the summer from graduation to college, I had written my first research paper, 54 pages of notes and rough drafts, about the link between thoughts on the afterlife and our moral decision-making. It all ended up corrupting due to a drive malfunction. As I am moving further into this semester, I realize I am only pursuing psychology because I was left with no other option. I wanted to do computer science, or maybe artist. What about physicist? I really wanted to be a damn physicist. I actually credit my physics teach in HS for helping me understand my potential. Regardless, I feel as if I should quit my semester and request to work full-time at my part-time job. It'll at least be financially stable, and I am pretty much guaranteed a management position the day I take full-time. Maybe I could use some of that money to help fund my hobbies. We all believe in this notion that work is fun only if you enjoy it, but what if your sad job helps fund your productive hobbies that keep you happy? I have it all calculated, and it'll be basically living paycheck to paycheck once I move out. I feel like our education system only grants those who are fortunate enough to have uni alumni parents or good school consolers a chance to succeed, because if our education system really valued great minds and great potential, maybe I could have been given a chance to really do what I want. Anyways, I am not going to edit or go through this and see if any of it makes sense. I don't care about this anymore. And now that I got to have written my life story so far, I feel better and realize that as long as I can keep myself happy with my instruments or whatever hobby I may take on, then I am living life. It's just unfortunate. To those who think they are not enough, or stupid, or worthless, I just want to let you know that you are only limited to who you think you are. As soon as you realize that, you can truly do wonders. Growing up, I realize, and I hope you realize this too, that no child is born stupid or worthless. Our minds shape into who we are because of the environment we put ourselves in, and our parents, of course.